Hello there. So in our last tutorial, we implemented the class for our bullet, which has the implementation of moving the bullet upward and then having all the setters and getters and our Q property as well. But we didn't see anything on the screen, but instead we saw a console printing fire bullets whenever we pushed the space key, which was executing this fire bullets function. But we were not seeing any of the bullets in the screen because we didn't connect our bullet.qml file to our bullet, right? So let's quickly do that. Because our bullet class implementation is completed, I want to change our controller to change the control of firing the bullets and connecting our QML, bullet QML. So for doing that, I'm gonna quickly go and include QList. So what really is QList? QList is just like an array or a linked list given by the Qt itself. So it's a type of data structure. You don't have to learn something new. It's just like any basic HTML data structure. Just imagine it to be a list which can store data type. So our list contains a data type of our bullet class because we're trying to store our bullets in a list. So I would say bullet. So this will take a bullet type and I'm going to name it bullet list. And I'm going to keep the list by our address, sorry, and not by the values. This seems fine. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to create a function here which will return a type of QML list property. And take bullets as a type. Sorry, bullet as a type. And I'm gonna name this function bullets, let's say. And this returns QML list property, okay? And I'm gonna include I'm gonna include the header file for QML list property to work. I just removed the QML context from here because it was of no need. And then QML property, this is a function, okay, a function called bullets, which is going to return a QML list property. What this is this helps you expose our C++ object or class to our QML objects and classes, okay? Because I'm saying like you could access these classes like in a list, so we are keeping this as a list. And inside here I'm gonna return QML because I need to return something in QML list property itself, right? So I'm returning QML list property, and what I want to return is this class, and I want to keep this inside our bullet list. Okay, so this takes the pointer. So if you go and hit F1 here, you can see what this does and everything and whatever you need to like do to make this work. So if you go to list property, it says like the Q object itself and then the pointer to the data. So we're giving our data here, right? So then what else we want to do is like whenever we call this function, it has this list of what the numbers of bullets that we created. So whenever you like hit the space button in the KML, it's gonna keep on generating the bullets, right? You're gonna keep on throwing the bullets, but you are also trying to store those bullets somewhere. Like whenever you hit the space key, there will be a bullet. You fire again, same thing. And what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna connect our status of this bullet list to change. Like for example, if there is any one bullet is added, I want to like notify that the bullet has changed. So queue property, and because our setters and getters were of double type, so our type this time is QTimer list property, and we are setting up bullets. So all right, bullets, and read bullets, and it's not going to write anything because this function only returns, so we don't need to set any setters because we're gonna input our bullets into this list through our keyboard, like spacebar. So whenever we like click spacebar, our fire bullet is going to be running. So I want to like push our bullets just like we are doing it for vectors, so I'm going to change this to our queue list. So whenever this list will be changed, this what this will do is like, because these are connected, so it will send a signal called notify, because I'm not writing anything through any function, so I'll just say notify bullets changed, let's say. So I'm saying like just read this whenever the bullet is changed and we're connecting it. And this QML list property, it helps you like expose your C++ objects to your QMLs, and we are saying we have a list of these objects of our bullets to be exposed into our QML screen. So there are a lot of like hard work to like to create a QML inside your C++ file, and it is also not a healthy practice to bring your QMLs and change those QMLs inside C++. It's not recommended. Either you have to do your QML in your QML, and if you bring your QMLs into C++, it's only in rare occasion. I'll also try to give a image right beside here to show you from our Qt documentation that it is not recommended. And some people, while making game, they use QML itself to execute these functions, like to create some objects dynamically and then those things. But we are creating our bullet here inside our C++, and we have our bullet.qml file here because I want this bullet to be in QML, because I want to have some graphics on it. I can put some effects on it. I can stretch it to as much as possible in terms of visual um, visual aspects. If I write these QMLs in C++, that will not just work. So just try to have your components in QML and find a way to connect them. Don't bring your QMLs into your C++. So now we have this function which will keep on adding our bullet into our bullet list and expose it to our C++ file, sorry, to our QML. And this seems to be it. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to our controller.cpp, and in our file bullet I'm going to add our bullet into our bullet list. So we already had a bullet list variable, so I'm just going to say append. So what this is doing, like we use append for bullet list to append new um, list values or list data into this list. And then I'm going to emit a change that says bullet changed. Sorry, what was the name of the signal in our controller header file? What was the signal? Oh, sorry, header. Where's the controller.header? Sorry, CPP file. It's, oh, sorry, it's bullet change, right? But I don't think we have created. Okay, void. We like included it in our queue property here, but then I didn't include it in our signal. So let's create a signal, bullet changed. So now I included this in a signal. So whenever this bullet list is changed, or whenever the element is added or removed, this signal will be emitted through this connection queue property. So in our controller.cpp, I'm going to say emit bullet changed. So whenever this will append new bullet into this will emit bullet changed, and then the new object will be exposed to our QML, another bullet will be exposed to our QML, and similarly it goes on. So now inside our main.qml, so we already have a control.fire bullet, which is fine, and I want to have something here. It is called repeater. So repeater has two things, model and delegate. So I'm gonna say what these are. Okay, hit this and F1. Sorry, in repeater cancel. Go to your repeater and hit F1. So this has this model and repeater thing. So models are actions, or the, just go to here, I'll just explain it from here. See, it is a variable, so it is a data technical. What is our data? Our data is bullets, right? So in controller.cpp, in controller.header, sorry, our data, our header file, I have bullets variables here. These needs to be repeated. This data should be repeated. So I'm going to go to our QML and say, as this is coming from the control, because we have connection of our control in main.cpp here. I'm like re-explaining these things, so if you're following this tutorial, you already know what that means. Like when we say control dot something, that we're just calling a function from our controller class. So if you go to your main.qml and say model, sorry, we just say control dot, the list name is bullets, sorry, yes, bullets, and our delegate will be the component that needs to be repeated, and that is our bullet.qml. So I don't know why that is capital. I'll just rename it to capital value, and I'll go quickly here and then change our QML to have this capital P here in bullets QML. So have this QML file with a capital letter. If it's in small, then this will not work. And again, go to QML and your delegate will be bullet. See how this turned green? That means that this is recognizing this bullet.qml. So everything looks fine. I'll go to our bullet.qml and we're gonna say your x will be model.x. Your y will be model for now. Or if I run this, should be able to fire bullets. Whoa. Requires template arguments. Where are these errors coming from? In our control, the CPP, is there any errors? I don't see any errors. Seems good to me. And controller header file, see bullets, return QML is probably this bullet list. Seems good to me. Things seems good. Yeah, everything seems good. I notify bullet changed. Bullets was, oh yeah, that's fine. Let me clean our everything and then rebuild. Compile and then see what our error is. Says, where is it? In file included, this is this use of class template QML per requires template argument. Okay, go to your CPP. If I see the error, I missed the argument for our list. Let's go over here in the function bullet given, probably here. Does this take a pointer? No, it doesn't take a pointer. It takes this value right here. Did I miss anything? Oh, okay. I missed it here. See, this is how I debug. I make mistakes all the time. And I see what is happening in our class, unknown type bullet. Yeah, it's fine if I run this, building fine if I hit, whoa. Now, see, what's happening is, now bullet is going from one direction, but because we hard coded the the initial position of our bullets, so no matter how weird our player rectangle is moving, it's still coming from the center of our window. So let's go and quick just to shoot it from the center. What I'm going to do is, this is fire bullet function where we created our bullet. So I'm going to say new bullet, set x to our current position of our this pair. See, this mx is the current position of the player rectangle, because we are controlling that player rectangle, right? And a new bullet set y would be, the y of our bullet will be my, let's say, and see how this goes. If I run this again, well, it's shooting from the center of our, not the center, but the top of our, because that's where the coordinate starts, right? Okay, I'm going to take it to the center. I'm going to say divide by 2 on the x. Yo, not divide by 2. I'm going to say plus 25. I'm adding 25 pixels because it's of size of 50. Yeah, seems fair. I don't want to hardcode this, but we're going to change this later on. But just to give you the good example for this application, now it's somewhere in the center, right? Yeah, and you can see the bullet from wherever. No matter how, like where you change the position, it still keeps on shooting from our player rectangle.